This year so far has been truly transformative for me, and because of that I feel ready to let go of my past self and embrace the new season of life that I'm in. And of course this also means aligning our house with the new goals so I feel supported on the new path, and today I'm gonna take you with me as I declutter our entire home. I used to declutter by categories, but because our house has been decluttered multiple times, I'm gonna go room by room, and the only tools I'm gonna need are an empty laundry basket for things I wanna keep but rehome, and then an empty spot on the floor for my decluttered items. Now the criteria for today's declutter is very simple, and I'm gonna use only one question: would I buy this today? If the answer is no, I'm gonna declutter it even if I recently used it. And I know this may sound counterintuitive, and I usually automatically kept everything that I was using, but this year I realized that this alone is not a good reason to keep something. Yes, I might have used it, but did I enjoy using it? Do I have duplicates I prefer? Or maybe I used it only because it was there and I don't really need it. A good example for this are the 4 pillowcases I decluttered. As you can see, they were still on the pillows, but in all honesty, we have 10 pillowcases in total, and I used these just because they were there. And when I thought about it a little bit more, I realized I don't really enjoy them. I prefer other designs and materials we own. Plus, we didn't even buy this in the first place, we got them as a gift. So I will just take them off, give them a good wash, and then I can let them go. And now to my makeup. Because I've recently decluttered it, I didn't expect a lot to happen here, but I still went through everything just to double check and reorganize. One item I had to let go of was my liquid highlighter tint because it recently went bad, and then I also decluttered the hydrating mist because I've noticed it breaks me out. As for my makeup brushes, I again decluttered 2 that I recently used, but if I'm honest with myself, I wouldn't buy them again, and I can easily use the rest of my brushes for the same effect. I don't know about you, but I do my best to spend less time cleaning, and with a smaller brush collection, it means I will also save on time. For my wardrobe, I will do a separate video on that, but to give you a good wardrobe declutter high, I can show you the before and after with my husband. He decluttered more than 20 items, and his closet now feels much more like him. And to give him more space, we also created a store category for him with all of his duplicates and out of season storage, which he has in the small velvet stool in the corner, so it's very easy to access. Now the last thing to go through in this room is our dresser. In the top drawer I keep my dirty not dirty boxes, as well as the wardrobe steamer, fabric shaver and lint roller. Pretty much everything we need to keep our clothes looking nice. And then the second drawer is all of my gym equipment. I used to keep it in our guest room, but since renovating and expanding the bedroom, I prefer to do my Pilates and yoga in here. But as you can see, my drawer is really full, so I will again declutter everything I wouldn't buy again today. For me, fitness equipment used to be one area I could hardly declutter because who doesn't want to be more fit, right? But the last time I decluttered it, I've noticed the smaller my collection is, the less mental friction I feel when I want to work out. Because when I owned everything from Pilates equipment to heavy dumbbells and kettlebells, when I wanted to work out, I experienced decision fatigue and I didn't know where to start. But once I've simplified everything, I'm now much more consistent because I know exactly what to do. So my advice is find a workout you enjoy and only keep items you need for that, then let go of the rest. I personally believe we don't need a lot of stuff in order to stay fit, but if you want a harder workout, you can always go to the gym like I do once a week. And now the last drawer is my hair tools, as well as my makeup, skincare and perfume backups. My rule when it comes to bathroom cabinets is that I can only have one item of each, which means if I have some duplicates, I need the extra space to store them, and this drawer is the perfect solution. But of course, that doesn't mean I will just buy more than I need. I have rules in place to keep everything in check. First, I can buy more if the item I love and use regularly goes on sale. Second, Second, I can buy more if there is a threshold for free shipping. And third, if something is gifted to me, it will also go in here. For example, I recently got quite a few beauty products from a friend, and now they're in storage until I have space for them. Also, I want to mention here that this drawer is a bit too full for my taste at the moment, but I know I will eventually use stuff up, so for now I will just declutter things I know I will never ever use. For our bathroom, as I've said, I have a rule to have only one of each in here, which means there won't be a lot to declutter. But in spite of that, I want to have a good look because I know every item I declutter counts. One of the biggest lessons I learned with minimalism is that our home can become an exhausting and long silent to-do list if we're not careful, because items we own demand our attention and care. That's why it's important to keep only items that bring us value, otherwise we're literally paying for our stuff we never use with our peace of mind, stress, and time. That's why I also like to keep a specific number of items so we don't mindlessly consume. For our towels, we have 2 per person, and then we also have an entire drawer of only toilet paper so we don't need extra storage somewhere else. Plus, here it's always on hand. As for decluttering my beauty products, in the past I used to force myself to use up stuff I didn't even like because I didn't want to be wasteful, but now I have 2 guidelines to help me here. I only keep items I either really enjoy or I can use them up in a quick alternative way. For example, if I don't like a face wash, I can easily use it up as a brush cleaner or on my body. My face scrub can become a body or a foot scrub, and a face SPF can become body SPF. You get the idea. And this way I used up so many of my products without feeling like I'm suffering to just empty the tube. Now to the room of doom, where I feel the most overwhelmed in our entire house. Usually if we have something we don't know where else to put it, it will go in here. And in preparation for this declutter, I actually reorganized some drawers because I wanted to space things out and organize by category. So in the first 2 drawers, I have my filming equipment. In the drawer at the bottom, we have another storage, this time for our shared bathroom stuff. Then on the right, I have 2 drawers with my clothes that are in timeout for now. And then on the bottom, all of our travel stuff, travel bags, travel size products, empty containers, body SPF, and hair clips I only used in the summer. As with my bathroom, I didn't have a lot to declutter here, but every item counts, and you will see at the end how everything adds up. Next to the dresser, I also have a beach bag my mom decluttered and gave to me to sell, but now that it's been a while, I would just donate it. And then I also declutter some cushion as we have too many at the moment. Now onto our storage area. Because we don't have a garage or a pantry, we created this space for everything home related. Here I also have my stationary bag that I love using on rainy days when we cannot go for a longer walk. But then I also have a foam roller I decided to let go of, and another mat with weights that my husband never uses, and he told me I can declutter them for him. Then on the left, I have the rest of my filming equipment, and because I recently bought a new filming light, I can give the ring light to my sister. Oldkin would just hang on to this just in case, but the reality is that I just haven't used it since I got a new light, so I have to honor that. As for the boxes, they're organized enough, so I will just go through items I know I want to let go of, as I don't want to spend my entire day in here. Honestly, yes, I could go through every single item, but there is so much stuff in here, I would rather do it another time and another day. But in case you're curious about this organized mess, we have everything from empty boxes we're obliged to keep from our internet provider, to summer storage, my at-home hair dye set, some beauty empties I've been collecting, then sewing machine with all of the accessories and stuff that I want to fix. I also have some shampoos for Bali and my wool clothes because I have a blue and pink basket I use for that, so I wanted to have everything in one place. Then we also have some home thermal boxes with some organizers. Then we have extra batteries and light bulbs and another bin with our home storage. And then a bin with stuff to sell where I also keep some of my mom's stuff. And then Christmas decoration and the tree at the bottom, which I recently exchanged with my sister because I found our old tree to be far too big for a space. So this year we have a smaller tree and we're doing something new. Now that the upstairs is done, I can move on to the living room. Here we don't have a lot of furniture, but we do have more blankets than any one person needs. Some were gifted, others bought, but today I will focus on keeping only the ones we would buy again. We decided to keep one blanket for my husband and then one bedding set that includes the duvet and the pillow. We can use this as a guest bedding if needed, but mostly it's gonna be for me when I want to get cozy in the evening. And I have to admit, during this part, I second-guessed myself a little bit and I had a thought that I could easily keep more because we do have the space. But then I reminded myself that just because it fits, it doesn't mean it will make my life better or easier. At the end, it's the inventory that matters, so I went with my gut and I decluttered even the summer duvet and the extra pillow. As for our board games, I went through everything and I quickly realized we play and love all of them, which is amazing. The only change I made here is I moved my exit puzzles under the sofa because these games you play once and then you're done, and I wanted to have them in a more visible spot. The kitchen is the area I was probably most excited to declutter because I've had a lot of things I've been holding on to that I never ever use. Also, in preparation for this declutter, me and my husband already went through our food and we managed to fill the entire bag, which will go to my sister and my mom. And I did that because I recently started working with a nutritionist and my cooking habit changed, so I knew it's better to give the food away before it expires instead of letting it go bad in our cabinets. As for my philosophy with food, I love a minimalist approach. Our goal is not to have every single flavor or spice or condiment, but just the ones that taste and make us feel good. And now that I have some new healthy and delicious recipes, decluttering is easier than ever because I know exactly what I want to keep and why. I have to admit, this declutter feels very freeing because I'm letting go of items I've been holding on to for years. After our final big declutter 7 years ago, I more or less decluttered just to maintain our home. But this one is different because it's more about reducing the inventory and creating a new baseline for us to follow, so it truly feels like entering a new chapter. It's funny how decluttering seems like a practical action on the outside, but on the inside it's actually a deep mental process of accepting where we are, letting go of the past and trusting the future. That's why it's not always easy to declutter, but if we stay curious and trust the process, it's very much worth it. I love using different questions for different decluttering sessions as they can help me reassess and see things differently. And one of my favorite decluttering questions I ever used is, what is this item or drawer or space or room or even home saying about me? This one helped me discover that I have a fear of not having enough in the future. That's why I have so many backups, because I still haven't managed to get through them all. And then I also discovered that I try to people pleased with my stuff, meaning I acquire things for my family and friends to enjoy even though they never asked me to, and worst of all, they don't even end up using the stuff. And that is the beauty of staying curious, because we can recognize and let go of deeper fears we didn't even realize we had, and as a result, our lives and homes get simplified as well. But now back to my kitchen. You can see I decluttered quite a lot, mostly duplicates and gadgets we never ever use. But then I also went through our medicine cabinet to throw out all of the expired products. And even though I know I could technically declutter even more here, for me this feels amazing for today. And the best part is that now that I created more space, I can also reorganize some drawers to avoid using my countertops as storage. I personally like to keep everything hidden so our kitchen feels relaxing and clean. Also, because I just have you here, I wanted to ask you that if you're enjoying this video so far, that you give it a thumbs up, because it really helps me out. Thank you. Now to my lovely home office. This used to be our dining area, but we never used it, so last year we finally got the courage to sell our dining chairs, and we haven't looked back. I love the corner I created for myself here. It feels truly peaceful, and the only thing to declutter is the extra corkboard that I don't need. But because I'm using our old dining table as my desk, it means I have extra storage in our kitchen island. We have our printer and papers, label maker and documents in here, as well as some candles, nail stuff, and some backup of kitchen wipes. This cabinet has already been organized when I did the kitchen, so this is how it will stay. But then we have another storage under our TV unit. I have some office supplies, planners, and then also loads of receipts and warranties, which I actually went through last week, and I trashed a lot of paper here. So satisfying. Then I also keep some cables, a nanny cam, and hard drives for my files in here. And lastly, just some stuff I need to rehome. And then also my glass cleaners are in here, which I know it's a lot to have the entire drawer just for that, but I don't know what else to put here. So for now, it's just gonna stay this way. And now I will quickly go through our hallway. As I said, I will not go through my clothes today, but I will declutter this extra hanger that I kept just in case. As for our drawers, again, there was nothing specific I wanted to declutter here. I just had a look around, and if I realized there is something I would not buy again today, I decided to let it go. As I've said before, every single item counts. Now for the final stretch, our laundry room, where we obviously keep everything to do with our laundry, but then also with the cleaning. The two main drawers I declutter regularly, so I have nothing to let go of here, but I do want to declutter my Swiffer as I don't really enjoy it, and I don't love the idea of buying disposable replacements. Plus, I already have a mop that I prefer much more. And then in the big pull-out drawer, we have again more backup, but most of these were intentionally bought, so I only really need to get rid of Swiffer attachments, and that's the room done. And now the last thing is to put all of my items in the basket in their proper home. Some need to be installed, and I've made a deal with my husband that if they're not done in a month, I will let them go, but others I need to simply put back where they belong. Here you can see everything I let go of, and you know me, I had to count everything, and I can say that I decluttered around 185 items, which feels amazing. Now, if you enjoyed this declutter, I will link a playlist with all of my decluttering videos you can watch next. Thank you for stopping by today, and I will see you next time.